New arrests in the Boston Marathon terrorist attack. 2 men from Kazakhstan and an American behind bars after making their initial court appearance. They're charged with obstruction of justice, lying to investigators. Joining me now, criminal defense attorney Heather Hansen, former prosecutor Dan Shore. Let's start with these arrests of the 3 here, Heather. They look to be, accessories after the fact, but that's not what they're being charged with.
No, it is an accessory. You have to be aware that a crime is going to be committed. And they are being charged with 2 of them with obstruction of justice. Those are the 2 from Kazakhstan. And then the American is being charged with lying to a federal agent. The charge and the sentence for lying to a federal agent is actually a greater sentence. And I think that's because it really gets in the way of the investigation. And this particular gentleman was lying to the investigators for over a week after the bombing. And theoretically, some investigation could have been messed with in some way because of that delay. Well, and you asked about cooperating. 2 of them, the 2 from Kazakhstan, had actually been taken in by the ICE agents on immigration violations. So today, when Diaz's attorney came out and said, my client's been cooperating, he's been in custody. So he has been cooperating. We don't know whether or not any deals have been made. Will they be made? That's going to be the basis for any sort of plea negotiation.
Well, that certainly isn't a typical reaction, is it? This is one lesson I think that we've all learned. They're the people they killed, the people they maimed, the people they injured. These were not very good terrorists, but they hurt a lot of people. Right. And I frankly, if these 3 young men had the opportunity to turn them in and chose to help them,
Also,
the hell with them is the way I
wish that there would be greater sentences, greater crimes for them to be adjudicated here. But unfortunately, it appears as though there aren't. You know, as Dan said, it doesn't look like they had anything to do with it. There's a footnote in the affidavit that says that
anything to do with what?
With the planning of the bomb.
But I don't care about that. The simple fact that they knew about it and tried to cover it up is enough for me.
Of course.
If we move to another level, it's a whole new deal. We're going to be back with, well, the rest of the deal with Dobbs Law in just a moment. Stay with us. We're back with attorneys Heather Hansen and Dan Shore.
I agree. I mean, this battle of the experts idea, I think it's going to come down to Jody. It is interesting to me that they asked the defense experts hundreds of questions and asked the prosecution's experts a handful of questions. It really, to me, goes to show that they're having some real trouble grasping Jody's defense.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be a death penalty case?
I think that they will get first degree, then they go to the mitigating.
It's a death penalty case. Will it be a verdict?
I think that it will be. I do. I think that they've been able to prove premeditation with the gasoline cans and all of that type of direct evidence. But then there's aggravating and mitigating circumstances, and that's another hearing.
Well, in another case, the Philly abortion doctor, that also wrapping up.
As far as the evidence, Lou, it's going to come down to direct evidence versus circumstantial evidence. There's no direct evidence that these babies were born alive. The medical examiner could not say with medical certainty these babies were born alive. The circumstantial evidence of the 32 witnesses who saw the baby move, saw the baby breathe, heard the baby cry, that's what needs to be weighed.
Is it persuasive, perhaps, at least by implication to the jury, that the judge ruled throughout some of the charges because there was not sufficient evidence? It almost has the effect of saying, but there is sufficient evidence for these charges.
And as a defense attorney, that's what I worry about whenever that happens. If a party is dismissed after the plaintiff's case or if charges are thrown out, I always worry that the inference to the jury is there's something there.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. That's it for us tonight. We thank you for joining us.